Hello, welcome to Being Reintegrated. This is Tim Wright. So I am so shocked at what we have now for you. Um, Thank you to those who emailed resurrectedcohens at gmail.com. We now have kind of a robust program available to selected members, not of Being Reintegrated. You don't have to be a member of the Patreon in order to experience these benefits. So it's not a money making thing. Now, if you're buying the video subscription, you're probably going to get a lot more information than anybody else. But thank you so much for that. Not buying the video, but basically supporting the work that we're doing here. Now, the Order de Cohen Resuscité is a resurrected Cohen order. And what does that mean? That means that we are introducing for the first time a robust program that is based on historical documentation. You're not going to get anything derivative from someone, trying to spin the material with us. And what we're doing is we're providing classes now to our members. Now, it's not like you don't go through an initiation to become a member. You become a research academic member when you're accepted, and that'll go over review and everything. But I kind of wanted to show the class. So if you don't mind, my face will disappear for a moment. And here is the classroom for the first introduction to Martinism slash Elu Cohen that we got here. Now, most of this is not Martinism, almost all of it. But you'll see that in your class, you'll have an introduction, a short reading of Amadou and Michael Senave that we translated, some really good academic teachings on theurgy. And then in section 2, you have history from Ridgenberg and the biography of Saint-Martin from A.E. Waite. Section 3, we give you the prayers of Saint-Martin. Now, you may be like, oh, I already have this. No, you don't. It's a specialized way of doing the prayers, which includes theurgy. Now, I don't know if this is completely done yet. We're working on getting some more stuff here. But the next thing are the 10 lessons of Martinism slash Elu Cohen from Serge Callier from the Eleazar Institute. Now, most of this is initiatic material, but we give it in our introduction for anybody who is interested in the topic. And the instructor said the reason why is because we want you to have a cursory understanding of the Elu Cohen before you get into Elu Cohen proper. So, hi again. What exactly is that? So we're going through, you could go through the codex. I don't know if anybody has gone through the codex recently. Let's see if we can get you into the codex here. So if you go to the codex, you can see that you have a video here, of course, and then you have all the upcoming projects and the links. These have since been put on kimpublishing.com. But if you go to the Cohen Codex, you can see that there's source texts. That is the Lessons of Leon are all here. The Treatise of Reintegration of Beings in English in sections. Now, these sections have been created based on the Amorc division, but you'll see there's also a treatise table. And this is the table that comes from Gerard Guindet in his Figurism and Illuminism book from Tarent. It's very, very good. But we have broken down all these sections into these original pages, I think they are, from the 1899 version. Anyway, just a wealth of material here We have the Red Book that was human translated. We have the Treatise of Benedictions, which I promise you is an amazing treatise. You don't have to go buy the book. I have it and I study it often. Basically, all of the Green Book blessings are covered in their Cohenized understanding through the Treatise of Benedictions. Again, if you have the Spirit of Things, you'll have the Treatise of Admiration, the Treatise on Communications, which is what Saint-Martin wrote to those who were interested in the Yellow Kohen as he was moving away from it. So you'll see some of his thoughts there. Then we have catechisms. We have all of the catechisms that are available, including miscellaneous catechisms, which is sweet on another plane. Now, this comes from the presence of Saint-Martin in a Amadou book that is really hard to get. We have the Essay on Matter and the Sur Ayom from R8018. Pretty profound stuff. So, and then we have an entire paginated version of Abbe Fournier. And what you'll see here, this English translation, you see these little brackets. These are original page numbers. The entire book is here, the first volume. And you'll see that every one of the pages has been broken down. So what'll happen is if you read through the Abbe Fournier Simple Initiate Commentary, which is basically a summary and a kind of textualization of these pages. So just for instance, we have 13 here. Let me get the book out. They easily be able to see on the book, but page 13, and every page is numbered, and you have a section. So when I analyzed this, the section was, and you can't possibly remember all this, so it's good to have a commentary like this. The path to salvation and the need for rebirth. You'll see, I'm showing you right now, you'll be able to read page 13 here on the Codex, and then it gives a summary. The passage emphasizes that entry into the kingdom of heaven requires a spiritual rebirth. As Jesus Christ teaches, unless you are born again, you will not enter the kingdom of heaven. This rebirth is achieved by abandoning the influence of Satan, which contradicts Christians' teachings, and instead aligning oneself with the teachings of Jesus Christ, as exemplified by the apostles. Through this alignment, individuals fulfill their baptismal promises to renounce Satan and live according to God's will, as defined by Christian morality. Failing to follow this path leads to remaining in spiritual death and under the power of Satan, as opposed to living the life intended by God. So just so you see, it says, it will not enable us to enter the kingdom of heaven. For to enter it, we must be absolutely born again, in accordance with the words of Jesus Christ. Unless you are born again, you will not enter the kingdom of heaven. On and on and on. So you'll see that it's not just a restatement of the page. It's a summarization. It's a topical heading of that page. And I'm pretty proud with this commentary because this had never been done before. I say that all the time, but you know, when you go into the Kohen and you're trying to get this kind of material and you can't get it and nobody knows anything about it, it's a little bit challenging. I mean, yeah, you can read other volumes, but they won't have this level of granular drill down ability on them. So if it works, I mean, you know, go grab the Simple Initiate. Is a great overview of this entire book, which is, it's 200 some odd pages. It's 375 pages. And then Abbe Fournier, the Simple Initiate, has what we believe to be the second part of Abbe Fournier's treatise, which is 4127, which has been called the Treatise on Resurrection. So you'll see that each one of those has been partitioned off. I didn't paginate them because the pages are really odd, but you do have sections on those, and there are page numbers to the actual book, Simple Initiate. So that's good enough because the French doesn't paginate properly, and that book did not paginate when it was copied in manuscript form. Probably by Prunelle de Lier, who was the archivist for the Elucoan, and which we have for these catechisms. So that is that. So, hi again. So it's really helpful to have these materials. Not only that, but we've reconstructed a ritual script. Just so you know, I don't want to say it, but the red band was not available even to scholars like Serge Callier. I checked with Serge, and the red band is not available. So if you've experienced the red band, it's probably a amalgamation of the Ambalane, I was going to say Amadou, the Ambalane materials. So that is something that you have to keep in mind, because unless you know what you're doing, you're not going to understand this material. So we are working on, in the Scottish Rite, Albert Pike threw thousands and thousands of dollars into his publication Morals and Dogma. You can read in the annotated version, which I highly recommend, of Morals and Dogma, that when he took it to the publisher, it costed him multiple tens of thousands of dollars just to get the book made. Now, we're living in an age where we don't have to do something like that. So what will be available in the future from kimpublishing.com is a handmade, for the most part, cloth gold gilded version of what we're turning into the lectures of the Elucoan based on these catechisms, which you can read here on the Codex. But we're going to make, I'm going to make a Morals and Dogma-like book that you'll be able to follow in the Elucoan. So whatever order you're in, these are basically the catechisms put into lecture format, and then you'll have these lectures to guide you through your work. Not only that, but we've reconstructed the entire ritual script based on academic research. So that's there. We do have a liturgical priesthood now, backed up by authentic apostolic succession and a bishop of the independent wandering bishops, the Episcopoi Vagantes. So that is in full swing. And we're doing the theurgical priesthood too, which is the work of the equinox, the work of the patriarchs. All this stuff is put together. So you're not getting into just a little book club here. We have full ritual. We have full circles. We know exactly what the material is. We've reconstructed it better than the French, using the French. So it's not saying that the French don't know what they're doing. It's just we've taken all academic work and have built from there into the new Order des Coën Ressuscités. Kind of proud of this event, because it is a major thing. I had a friend who is a high-grade Mason, 33rd degree. So he's the highest you can get in the Scottish Rite. And he said, we're pretty much the meat of all academic centers when it comes to Martinism and Elucoan. And that was a really nice compliment. So you know who you are. Thank you. So that's what's happening. We have a Slack. We have our classrooms that are coming up on Google for the introduction. We have a group of rituals that are based on the original rituals. I am a member of the Martinus de Pasquale Society, so I am pretty well informed and have given over any of that authority to the originator of the Order des Cohens Ressuscités. So I even abdicated my role, which, I got because I did my work, I did my homework, I did my research. I abdicated that. I don't want it to be a top-down organization. It's a bottom-up organization. Every person who gets invited to the liturgical priesthood, which, basically you just have to go through the Cohen grades the proper way, and then we're going to invite you into the liturgical priesthood. Now, you may not know what it is. That's not our fault. If you don't know what it is, you don't know what it is. But if you are willing to sit at the feet of the other co-originator, because I'm not doing really any of the instructions, I left over instruction to him, and he's providing us a classroom format, which you saw earlier. So it's really, really amazing. I'm really grateful for these efforts. I'm grateful to you for sending emails to the resurrectedcohens@gmail.com. We're going to get you involved with a consideration committee. We're going to get your birth chart. We're going to take a look. It's going to be an individualized process for you. It's not a one-size-fits-all thing. The classrooms, of course, we got to go to a centralized place to get the information. But once you get the information, we're going to work with you. And it's not some kind of mystagoguery, baffle you and tell you you're so important when you're really just another member. There's a very radical equality that's across this organization. So you'll see that if you're fortunate enough to be invited. You go through the classes, you go through the rite. We have all of everything from everyone. So it's very cool to be able to put this together. We are centralizing the Elu Cohen for the world right now, just for America. But as we take our trip over to France and we go and see the Bordeaux Cohen and, see our friends in academia, which we support, and absolutely go support their works. You got the best of them, and they're in French, but, bring them to Kim Publishing if you translated, and then we'll at least get them available to people. But we have Dominique Clarambeau, we have Serge Callier, we have Gerard Guindet, and then we have the classic scholars, which are Rigenberg, Le Forester, Joly, all of that is necessary to understand the other work which we're doing, and you probably heard it before, which is German Illuminism. So we're also broaching into the topic of the German Martinism. It does exist through scholarship, not through any kind of weird thinking that, we know what we're doing. We don't know what we're doing. We're resting on the shoulders of scholars, which I found, have made mistakes. So it's easy to make mistakes. We all do it. We're human. Even yours truly, I'm human. And, we make mistakes. But to admit where a mistake has been made, to admit, I didn't paginate that. I didn't do that right. I didn't price that right. That wasn't quite done the way that I intended. It's okay. Just fix it. But going forward, we have that effort available to you. So feel free to email. You will be given due consideration. It's not just me. I'm not just picking out people that I like. It doesn't matter if I personally like you or not. Go ahead and submit your request, and you will get due consideration. And I believe that it's the best that we can possibly do in 2025. Thanks so much for your support.